Welcome, mystery fans. Thank you for clicking on my review for See How They Run, the latest whodunit celebration of the Agatha Christie classics of old, where we follow world-weary Inspector Stoppard and eager rookie Constable Stalker taking on a case amidst the 1950s West End of London as plans for a movie adaptation of the Agatha Christie classic play MOUSETRAP come to an abrupt end after a pivotal member of the crew is murdered. And so the pair is thrown into a puzzling whodunit within the glamorously sordid theater underground, investigating the mysterious homicide at their own risk. This is a hoot and a holler, my friend. If you go see this film, prepare for an utter blast. It is such a fast-moving, fun time filled with sharp dialogue, dry wit, and clashing personalities that just bounce off each other so naturally. See How They Run is for the mystery slash whodunit genre what Scream became for slashers, where it creates this great balance of mocking all the tropes and cliches and conventions and all the little tricks of the genre, while at the same time celebrating them, pulling them off while giving it a new spin that makes proceedings refreshing. The writing is so funny with its classic dry Brit wit spread throughout with all of these characters, and it makes itself kind of this companion piece to MOUSETRAP, where we're thrown directly into the middle of the play. We see a ton of details from the classic Agatha Christie stories, but personally, as someone who has never been to see the MOUSETRAP, I'm very glad that this film actually doesn't spoil the play, only really the premise and how it kicks off the story. That is a really nice touch and detail, and just makes me want to see the play more and more. But before we dive deeper into this mystery, that of course I won't spoil, I need to know your thoughts on See How They Run in the comments below. What is your favorite whodunit mystery ever? Are you excited for it? Anything and everything down there. And if you're enjoying this review, or if you just love movies and TV, this is the place to be, so consider clicking that subscribe button and you won't miss any future conversations on your favorite movies and TV. One key, unmissable ingredient for any whodunit to work is a great cast. Sam Rockwell, Saoirse Ronan, Dickinson, Ruth Wilson, Adrien Brody, David Oyelowo all shine, particularly our leads who share enormous chemistry on screen. I just love Sam Rockwell's indifferent demeanor and low energy, beautifully contrasted by Saoirse Ronan's high energy and eager excitement on every frame. They create this endlessly entertaining oddball couple that shouldn't work at all, and yet they make themselves so beloved as a pair on screen, playing this game of investigation and yet playing these little games with one another where even they are a mystery to the audience. Everyone in the cast maximizes their minutes on screen. They all bring something different and something new, a different kind of comedy and energy to the table, where they represent all these typical characterizations and they just give us enough to engage us in the mystery, going back and forth with flashbacks and into the current investigation, where we constantly follow this odd pair of Rockwell and Ronan as they look into each of these characters and how their different perspectives help in the solving of this case. The film is just constantly moving. It's just constantly high energy. Running at 98 minutes, it makes sure every minute on screen is earned and is necessary. It just makes for a really fun, engaging mystery where you learn every bit of information as these characters learn. It gives you just enough clues to go off on your own path, and you start seeing how characters could be wrong, and then it keeps bringing you back. It then keeps changing things as you move along the way with them. It's just endlessly fun. It feels like a theater play. The performances are from this heightened sense of reality. The way the film looks, the way the film plays out, the way these characters talk with their sharp, dry wit, bouncing back and forth, it's all very theatrical. It's all very boisterous, but it is so endlessly fun. Everything about the movie, from the time period to the direction, dialogues, and characterizations, they're all a love letter to Agatha Christie and her timeless works. And therefore, the film somewhat falls into the same trappings, tropes, and conventions of her works, where it has such an energized build-up throughout, where you're so focused in on these characters and in the mystery that the payoff doesn't feel as satisfying as the build-up. It feels underwhelming. Because you're following so much from the perspective of the two lead investigators, the film never is able to take full advantage of the entire ensemble, where they're just there to serve this one purpose, to give us hints here and there, to represent those typical characterizations and conventions. Oh, this is the scummy guy. Oh, this is the guy that we're going to suspect, but it's not really going to be him. Oh, this is the person that is an obvious suspect and is hiding something throughout. So they serve this very minimal purpose, but it's never allowed to fully shine. We don't get too much interaction between other members of the cast apart from when they're interacting with our lead investigators. And that is in great part because the film keeps going back and forth with flashbacks that the film recognizes are a somewhat lazy tool, and there is fun in that for comedic purposes, but it also doesn't allow for this cast to be fleshed out in bigger and better ways. It's such a fun movie that as you're watching, you don't even notice those issues, but by the end, once I started looking back at my experience, as much fun as I had, and I fully recommend this film, those issues and little trappings that the film falls into start to stand out more and more. It is such a fun experience that earns repeated watches, but it doesn't escape what usually haunted the conventional Agatha Christie storytelling. See How They Run is absolutely the best kind of pastiche, equal parts parody and celebration of the whodunit's theatricality and eccentricities. Ronan and Rockwell are an electric pair on screen, and the kinetic ensemble fires on all cylinders. Sharply literate and ludicrously entertaining. I'm giving See How They Run a B. Those are only my thoughts on See How They Run. I need to know what you make of it in the comments below. Was the killer obvious to you? And what is your favorite murder mystery? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Big thanks to my channel members for always supporting the channel. I'll be back very soon with more videos. So until the next one, love each other and love the movies.